Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to AFC Game by Game. Today I'm doing another Google Hangout, joined with a previous guest, Nick, and we're going to be discussing the Monaco defeat and just having a brief look ahead to the Everton game. So Nick, really, the Monaco defeat was absolutely atrocious. How do we move on from that defeat? And really, how did it leave you feeling about the whole Arsenal situation? Because we've been having some really great results up until that point. We've been playing some good football bar the Spurs defeat. So how do you really sum up what was really a shock defeat at home?
It was a weird one, really. I think everybody was complacent. The fans, the players, even the manager, in my opinion. Monaco are a good team, and they proved it. They weren't complacent. They were very well organised, and they done a job on us. Really, there's no way to really describe it. But yeah, it just completely, I think, destroyed the fans. Must have destroyed the players' confidence, and yeah, it just left a very sour taste in all our mouths. To be honest, like it's how do we move on from it? I think we have to just go out and play against Everton the way we have played previous to the Monaco game because we were in good form. And we just got to hope it hasn't destroyed the confidence within the whole team.
Yeah, I mean, you brushed on that topic of complacency, and I don't know if you've watched any of the Arsenal fan TV interviews from the game, but that was kind of a recurring theme, especially with the interview with Chris Hudson, and he made a really good point that a lot of our players were arrogant in the game, not just the players, but the manager, and I think the fans really had that sense of we're going to bash Monaco 3-4-0, and in fairness to Monaco, I haven't heard of a lot of their players. I only really knew Berbatov and Kondogbia in that side, but they were so well drilled, they were so well regimented, they'd prepped so well for this game. They knew exactly what they had to do in order to get the result. They out tactics us in every single area of the pitch, and I certainly do think we were guilty of complacency. I felt that maybe the team was a little bit too attacking, but the thing that I can't really get my head around is the lineup was exactly what I would have gone with. I thought Danny Welbeck, Olivier Giroud. I can't quite understand why Giroud had such an awful performance. I don't. Any other day he's going to score that goal that, well, not goal, but that opportunity that he missed in the latter stage of the game. He had about two opportunities that 9 times out of 10 he'd put in the back of the net. There's the header I can think of. Well, actually, three opportunities. He had that one at the start of the second half as well, and then that one that I don't particularly want to talk about. That he absolutely blazed over the bar. But we should have really prepared well for this game. I felt that certainly Wenger didn't do his homework on Monaco, and I don't know really if that's how you feel about this game, but it's left me feeling a bit dejected, and it feels a bit it's predictable. I mean, I thought we started the game well. I mean, I don't know, like, really, what was your take on the game? Did you think we played well or badly? Because I think a lot of people are having mixed opinions on the actual performance itself. Because I know, especially in that second half, it was atrocious. But I thought for the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, we had a lot of good opportunities where maybe we could get a goal.
Yeah, we started very well. I think the big maybe turning point of the whole game was Monaco's first goal. It wasn't quite against the run of play because whenever they did go forward, they were getting into dangerous areas, but they hadn't really had a clear chance as such. But the goal was just lucky. I felt we were unlucky. I think a lot of people, while sitting around, were feeling that we should have been keeping the ball better, moving the ball quicker. Um, but the goal was it was almost against the run of play, I guess. But we were just so unlucky to be in that position because we had actually played good football. But when we came out in the second half, we panicked. We were moving the ball a lot quicker, but Gibbs and Bellerin were almost playing as wingers. It just left us so exposed at the back. You could see Koscielny and Mertesacker just on the halfway line. There's Coquelin was going forward as well. And we were just so vulnerable to a counter attack. What happened was inevitable, and yeah, it's so frustrating because losing 1-0 at home to Monaco isn't the end of the tie. We, also you don't want to be 1-0 down going to Monaco, but being 3-1 down is obviously a lot worse, and that's what happened. We were just tactically just so naive in the second half. It was unbelievable, really.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing I want to ask you is Mertesacker. Koscielny, really the whole back line where you've got like Gibbs and Bellerin, like you say, playing practically as left and right wingers. Do you think they're actually being told to play like that, or do you think that it's more that it's implemented in the players' mentality that they've got to try and get a goal and they're giving absolutely everything to try and help the team in an attacking sense? Because defensively, we offered absolutely zilch in that second half. So do you think Wenger's actually saying to them in the halftime dressing room that, we've really got to get our act together, we've really got to get a goal, because we didn't have to panic. At 1-0 down going into the second half, by no means, like you say, we were very much in the tie. There was no need to panic. So do you think that was something Wenger said to them, or do you think the players did that of their own free will?
Well, from Wenger's comments, he seemed very surprised how quickly we lost our shape. So he mustn't have told Gibbs and Bellerin to be playing as wingers. It must have come from Mertesacker, really, as the captain on the night. He must have told him, "Oh yeah, get forward." And but I just don't really. I can't think Wenger would have told them to go forward, but obviously, in his time as our manager, he has sort of given a lot of players freedom, and arguably we had far too much freedom on
Yeah,
one.
you did just mention Mertesacker there about how he was bombing up the pitch and how he may have been telling the younger players to go further and further up to try and get that goal. But Mertesacker, for me, has been pretty dire this season, and he bombards up the pitch. He's the one guilty of doing it every single time. Koscielny is left at the back. Mertesacker, I don't know why he goes up there. If anything, Koscielny should be the one going forward, and Mertesacker staying back, because Mertesacker's got absolutely no pace about him. He didn't play like a captain at all in any way, shape, or form on Wednesday night. And do you honestly think that he's really got a future at the club?
I don't know. He had a very good season last season. The danger is you're playing in the Premier League or the Champions League, where the game's very quick compared to, say, I don't know, let's say the Bundesliga, where it's a little bit slower, and you maybe can afford to play someone without that much space. I think he's a very clever player, very good tactically, very good at positioning himself, but it's just a shame. If he had a bit of pace about him, I think he'd be able to cope in any game we put him in, but he's the slowest player on the pitch.
His age doesn't help as well.
No.
I think
So,
really, would you give Gabriel a chance in the game against Everton?
no, without doubt, yeah. Like, I feel a lot of players probably have their confidence destroyed, but I'll be very surprised if Giroud starts against Everton. I'll probably give, Gabriel a chance, and I'll
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
get Chesney back too.
if you're picking off the top of your head what team you'd like to see, um, who would you really go for? Because I want to see a lot of change. I want to see. I don't want to use Ozil as a scapegoat, but I did think he was one of the more particularly poor players in the game, and there are a couple of players that I wanted to pinpoint. But I'll just get onto that after this point. What lineup would you like to see start against Everton on the weekend?
I'd probably bring back Callum Chambers and Monreal. I feel Monreal was unfairly dropped against Monaco anyway. I'd like to see Chesney back. I think Ospina, he wasn't really at fault for maybe the second or third goal, but the first goal I feel we could have tried to save it.
Yeah, he was wrong-footed though. I can't. I think it's understandable that he couldn't quite. I would have liked to have seen him jump for it, but you've got to understand in that scenario when you're kind of rooted to the ground, it's hard. I think the third goal, should I say, was actually kind of a savable one. I think that's the one where maybe he's got to be picked up on. And both Chesney and Ospina do really strike me as good number two goalkeepers. But just get back to your lineup.
Yeah, I'll probably go for Gabriel and Koscielny. I won't drop Coquelin. I think Cazorla, keep him in the squad. It's really difficult at the moment because we don't have an industrious midfield player, like a box-to-box player.
Well, actually, saying that, I think Rosicki could do a job in that role. I honestly think he could.
Yeah, I feel defensively maybe Rosicki, that's his weakness. And I'm a massive fan of Rosicki, but Cazorla, Ozil and Rosicki are all the same type of mould of attacking midfielder. We're really missing Ramsey and arguably Wilshere, and obviously Wilshere's out for even longer. We found out today, so Um, we're really missing that kind of player. Arguably, Mikel Arteta could have filled that if he's fit. But yeah, I'll probably keep Alexis in the team. I'd like to see Chamberlain start, and I'll probably also start Welbeck.
I mean, the thing is, you say that we're missing a player like Jack Wilshere, that kind of guy that occupies the box midfield role. But what I found, I think Jack Wilshere is someone that we miss. I certainly think that he's really good at spreading the play and bringing the ball from the defence to the attack and vice versa. But what I found with Ramsey is this season that he's bombing so far up the pitch, he's not really offering anything defensively. And I found that since he's been injured for a couple of weeks, we've actually been playing quite a bit better without him in the squad. I think the way we've been lining up him, I'm assuming it's a 4-1-4-1 where we've got two wingers, which most notably have been Alexis Sanchez and Danny Welbeck, and then we've had Ozil and Cazorla playing as the two central playmakers. I think that's worked really well for us at the moment because they offer a lot more creativity. And if you've noticed, Cazorla especially is tracking back a lot more. So I think that's working in our favour whilst Ramsey's out of the squad. But I do agree with you that in an essence that we do need someone like Ramsey back just to provide a bit of bulk in the midfield. And I think he's one of Wenger's most cherished prodigies in the team at the moment. So I think he's kind of guaranteed a place in the team. I mean, what I'd like to see on Sunday is lots of pace in the squad. I want to see Theo Walcott come back into the frame of things. I thought Chamberlain, when he came on against Monaco, despite with the error leading to the third goal, I thought he was absolutely superb. One of the hungriest players on the pitch. I think that maybe he deserves a chance in the game. Maybe.
He's a very he isn't phased by big occasions. What I like about him is he'll take the game by the scruff of the neck and take it to Monaco. Everyone had lost their confidence when we went 2-0 down. He came on and he seemed like he was putting in that extra bit of effort compared to the rest of the team. So yeah, I really rate Chamberlain, and arguably he maybe could play in that Ramsey role. He played in midfield on Wednesday night, and Wenger does see him as a midfielder, so maybe play him in that role.
Yeah, I mean I think just getting back to the Monaco game, really, I think that's really where we lost all of our shape. Although Chamberlain arguably did change the game for us in the positive sense, well, and the negative sense, I felt that when we took Coughlin off and we brought Chamberlain on, pretty much the whole dynamics of the team went out the window because we just had so many attacking players on the pitch. I mean, we had Walcott, Chamberlain, both arguably right wingers on the pitch. We had Ozil, we had Cazorla. Actually, no, Cazorla came off, I think, was it? But we had so much creativity going forward, and it really did leave us exposed at the back. And I think that's one area of the pitch that costed the tie. I think not only the team is guilty of panicking, I think Wenger was certainly very guilty of panicking and bringing all of those attacking players on because he just left us so vulnerable at the back. But really, a player that I wanted to discuss, actually two players I want to discuss, Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. These kind of players, they've cost a whole influx of money. Neither of them performed on Wednesday night. Why was that? These players were bought for big occasions like this. Why do you not think they were motivated enough to at least get on the score sheet for this game?
Yeah, I always felt Mesut Ozil gets a really hard time with it. Like from fans, from everyone really. He didn't perform well on Wednesday night, but it was difficult. I think one thing Monaco done well was stop Cazorla, who really helps out Ozil and Sanchez. Every time Cazorla got the ball, he got kicked or pulled back.
Yeah, I found they really heavily man-marked Cazorla, especially over anyone.
Yeah, like João Moutinho, how he wasn't booked in the first half was unbelievable, but it might not have changed the game, but it might have helped us flow a bit better, which would have helped Sanchez and Ozil. But every time Sanchez gets the ball, he's got 2 or 3 players around him, and I just feel there wasn't any space in between Monaco's 2 holding midfield players and their back 4, and that really was hard for both Sanchez when he wanted to cut in from the wing to find some space to play the ball in or take a shot, or Ozil to play any passes through them. So Monaco were very well organised, and I think it's very tough for just 2 quality players to break down a team like that. You need a whole team doing well. And of course, when we did actually create chances, Olivier Giroud missed a lot of them. So it's just one of them things.
I mean, maybe we've got to look at it in the sense that, I mean, that we weren't actually as bad as we think we are. It was more that Monaco were incredibly good because they were so well and efficient at taking our most creative players out of the game. But it's left us in a real tricky situation. And the next thing that I really wanted to talk about was the fans. I mean, if you were at the game, I'm assuming you were,
Yeah,
then what did you make of the atmosphere? Because I thought it was diabolical on Wednesday night.
yeah, no, it really was. Everyone was just so complacent. People were forgetting. Like I said at the start of the game to the people I sit around, Monaco won their group. They won their group. We came second in our group. They're a good team, and like on paper, like when the draw was made, they're a better team than us, and we have to treat the game like that. And after, I think after 30 seconds, my dad turned to me and said, "This is terrible," because we weren't starting the game like moving the ball about quickly, but. I could see Monaco were filling out the midfield. They weren't making it easy for us to pass the ball about. And I think that just killed the atmosphere even more. If we got an early goal, the atmosphere might have gone up, but it was like we were watching a League Cup match.
Yeah, game against Hull or something. It felt flat, absolutely flat, and obviously the way we played and the way Monaco took us out again didn't contribute to that. But I think the fans at a point do have to play their part. Where I was sitting in the clock end, usually there's a decent atmosphere there, but in this game it was especially poor. I thought the fans didn't play their part at all in this game, and that's something that's really got to be rectified. I don't think Arsenal, as a business point of view, don't really help, especially with the stewarding, that kind of thing implemented. It really does not help the fans get a vocal aspect of the game. But really, I think that's something that's got to be addressed because it certainly doesn't help. And it really frustrates me when all the fans are singing about Tottenham when we've got when it's that. How's that going to make the players motivated for a game when we're just chanting "Stand up if you hate Tottenham" or something like that? It really doesn't help get the players motivated for a game
No,
at all.
I don't really understand the whole Tottenham thing. I went away to Palace and everyone's singing about Tottenham for 90 minutes, and we're the better club, we're the bigger club, and it's embarrassing really. We've got nothing to be jealous of Tottenham about. I don't personally hate Tottenham because there's nothing to really hate about them. They've never really finished above Arsenal in my lifetime. Well, when I was like two. But yeah, like, I've got nothing to be jealous of Tottenham about, and I don't really understand why we sing about them at all. And in a big game, in a big Champions League game, support the team. You know, don't sing about other teams. Sing about your own team. I'm with you on that. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive frustration for me, and it's not just at home, but it is at away games as well. Though, to be fair, I think our away support is absolutely immaculate, one of the best in the leagues, in my opinion. But really, final point: do you think we can go through in this tie?
No, I've told. Well, I've made a bet with my friends that if we do go through, I'll run down my street naked. I'm that confident. It's just not going to happen. It's just Monaco are so good defensively. They only conceded, I think, 4 goals in the whole of the group stage. So
Yeah,
to concede 3 in 90 minutes, I don't see happening. Even if we have a quality game going forward, we're going to concede if we've got to play that attacking football because they showed how good they were on the counter attack, how dangerous they were, and it's Arsenal that we're not going to score 3 goals without a reply. So I think this is the end of the road for us for this season.
yeah. I mean, anything can happen on the night, I suppose. But in my honest view, we're out of the Champions League, which is incredibly depressing to say because it was such a favourable draw for us. And I think at the time, every single fan actually thought we could have a decent run in Europe, and this could well be our best chance to progress in the Champions League for what could be another decade for all we know. It's one of the best chances, especially in our lifetime, that we might see Arsenal progress in a tournament that we're not really renowned for doing so well. And of course, it's going to be a monumental uphill climb for us. I don't know how we'll line up. I assume that I remember when we played AC Milan at home, and we literally just went all out attack. We put every single attacking player on the field. I can see us doing something similar over there because we've got nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose. But I'm not looking forward to the game whatsoever, and it's really flatten my spirits going into the game at Old Trafford. Really, actually, just making that the final point. The game at Old Trafford, that's the last straw for me. Really, if we don't win that, then our season is it's done, completely done. I'm not even going to be that hyped about getting in the top four this season because we just don't do anything in the Champions League. The only real benefit of getting top four is for financial purposes. It would be great to win the FA Cup again, but at a ground that we have an appalling record at, do you think we can go there and do you think we can honestly get a win or, if not that, a replay?
Well, Man United aren't that good. You know, they're not. We are a better team than Man United, but the difference is they don't panic. If we went 1-0 up against Man United, they wouldn't panic. Well, if they went 1-0 up against us, we would. If you put them in the Monaco game, for example, they definitely wouldn't have gone the way we went. So it's difficult. We are the better team. On paper, we should be able to win that game, but there's just a mental block when it comes to Man United and big games for us. I do believe we can win it. But yeah, even a replay wouldn't be a bad result, but I don't know. It really depends if we learn from this Monaco game, because I think we can learn a lot from this Monaco game, and if we can take what we learn to Old Trafford, we have a good chance.
Pretty much, laptop died, so apologies about that. Unfortunately, I lost Nick, but that was pretty much the hangout. Pretty much our thoughts on the game against Monaco in the Champions League, where we lost 3-1, as well as that, a look ahead to the game against Everton and brief thoughts on the upcoming game against Man United in the FA Cup, where it's going to be very difficult for us to get a win, but hopefully with some belief and momentum behind us. I mean, it would have been great if we could have beaten Monaco, then beaten Everton with a run of wins behind us. But now it's just vital that we get a big win over Everton, rectify things, and really just do as well as we can until the end of the season. I mean, we've just got to keep winning games, and who knows where we'll end up. But realistically, this tie in the Champions League does look beyond us, and the game at Old Trafford is really all we've got left to play for. So, although Nick isn't here and my laptop died, apologies about that once more. Thanking him for coming on. It's been a great experience to have Nick on, and hopefully I can get a few more of these hangouts done in the near future. Anyway, guys, that's been the hangout. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like, rate, and subscribe to FC Game by Game, and I will speak to you very, very soon.